So there's little things like that we can take from super successful businesses and implement into ours. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, because like I said, we've been following the tribe systems where it's like, our marketing's on point, classes are on point. We've been doing our instructor training, getting everybody trained up, working on our curriculum. And it's like, okay, where's the hole in my gym that I can fix? And it's like, oh yeah, this is a big hole. Let's tighten this up. I mean, it's not a big hole, it's a little hole, but we can tighten this up, improve it, and then have, people when they come in greeted faster, get the waivers filled out faster, make them feel welcome. Oh yeah, grab a seat. I'll introduce you to coach so-and-so as soon as he's done with this class, making them feel that comfortable so they feel like they're welcome. When they're leaving, that's gonna be the new thing in my checklist is the front desk person has to say goodbye to everyone. Okay, see you later. Don't have to know their names, obviously. It's like, but the goal is going to be just say goodbye to everyone. Okay, because I'm stealing that from Lifetime because they are way more successful than me and they make a gazillion dollars. They charge, this is insane. This is a freaking gym charges $189 a month. Think about that when you're like, oh, I can't charge more than $150 for jujitsu. These fools are charging $189 a month. And there's a signature one open up over in Westlake, which is like where all like the pro athletes live and the Cowboys and people with tons of money. $249 a month to go to a gym. It's like, so there's so much, everybody's freaking out about the economy and the recession and all that stuff. But it's like, we talked about, I think last week, a week before, me and Amy, it's like, you're feeling a turn now. It's like, because when everybody's like, oh, things are really bad, when they start talking about it, we're halfway through it. Right. So we were kind of bottoming out. It feels like we're getting a little bit more upward momentum. I've gotten less complaints about price, because like a couple months ago, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm like, what are we doing? It's like I've never had this many complaints about price. People are like, oh, I got to check my finances and my job. I'm a little worried about my job. And it's like, oh, no worries. But last month or so, we've seen a lot less of that. And people like, as long as you're doing the sales process and tightening everything up, we've had a lot less of that, which has been nice. So it's kind of like, hey, maybe we're pulling out a little bit. People are a little bit more optimistic. All the big layoffs have happened. Hopefully we won't see another round of those, all these big tech companies and everything. Things are kind of balancing out, but we stay on the gas the whole time. I listened to a really good podcast the other day, and it was crazy. It was Founders Podcast, really good. And it talked about Rolex. This episode about the founder of Rolex, the guy who designed it and created it and everything. And the guy was super smart. And it was crazy. I didn't realize this, but Rolexes weren't that popular until you would never guess the year. 2008, 2009. It was crazy. I'm like, well, what did they do? And the guy talked about it. What happened was all the high-end watches and everything was the recession. Everybody stopped their marketing. Rolex doubled down on their marketing. They just hit everything they could to position themselves as the luxury watch, the go-to watch, the status watch, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then when we came out of the recession, they were in the better spot than all their competitors, and they took off like crazy from there. So it's kind of cool. It's a good podcast if you're listening to it, but it's good to get little business tips from them. But the key with that was when everybody stopped marketing and freaked out, they kept on it. And then they became, obviously, you're probably not going to become Rolex, but, become the most successful gym in your area. Anybody can do it if you do the things. But it was cool to get that reassurance. We always talk about that. It's like, if you stop your ads, it doesn't just hurt you for a month. You might get okay with it for a month, but then what happens? Your pipeline dies down 2, 3, 4 months now. Now you're 4 months behind on your pipeline. Hey, go work your old leads. You're like, oh, I don't have a lot of old leads. I turned my marketing off. It's like, oh God, okay, turn it back on. And then we know when we turn our leads back on, 50% are going to be like, oh, maybe later. I don't know. I don't know if I'm really still interested in that. 20% are like, oh yeah, schedule an appointment. The other one's like, oh, maybe next week, maybe next week, maybe next week. And you got to keep working those old leads. So if you don't have old leads to work, huge problem. And if you don't have money, you can do this with organic marketing. So you can be like, hey, I don't have a lot of money, to do this. Cool. Double the amount of content you put on your Facebook and Instagram. So we call it sweat equity. Like when Johnny was talking about when he was broke and building his gym up, we had two choices. Either like spend a lot of money on ads or sweat equity. And this is back when lives worked a lot better. Now lives don't work near as good as they used to, but people in the tribe would go live every day, in their schools pages, things like that, because they didn't have money. So you can do different things, but the key to this is staying on top of it, getting your marketing done, paid marketing, organic marketing, whatever it is, and improving from there. And then at the end of the day, looking for a hole in your business you can fix. Like what's something you could fix? You always look at your 4 key number or 5, like Amy says, but is it leads? Is it sale? Is it leads, appointment, sales, retention? Where's the hole at? Okay, we could fix this. Let's improve this. So that's what I did. I took a look at it, stepped back, and I was like, man, what if I tried this? I want to get, and I'm kind of stealing it because Amy's salesperson doesn't train, and I'm like, he's doing pretty good. And he's very attentive. So I'm like, maybe I should try something like that instead of going, picking through who we have at the gym. Because sometimes you don't get the best things. You're kind of like, oh my God, I hired this person and they're good at jiu-jitsu, but they can't sell or set an appointment. So we're trying this one now. And I'm super excited about that because it's like, I'm talking like detailed checklist of like, dusting shelves and making the gym just look nice, smell good, greeting people, saying goodbye to people, just the little things, because you're paying them to be there anyways. They should be doing more work, right? And it's the things you don't want to do, because like I'll do it sometimes. I'm at the front desk. I'll be like, if I'm doing something, I'll say hi or bye to anybody that comes in, but I can't sit there the whole time. My job is to be teaching, instructing, going over curriculum, make sure the instructors are doing their jobs, and just managing the team from there. So I hope you guys got something out of this. Take some time.